Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The next question I have received: is it allowed to hit a wife according to it says in Islam? So it seems like I'm not sure if this question is from a Muslim or non-Muslim. Somebody didn't mention a name. There has been a great misconception, not within a non-Muslim, and also there's a great misconception within Islam, because now what is the root cause of that? People think that, like, your wife is your property, your children is your property, so you can do whatever you want. You can hit them if they misbehave. Even if your wife misbehave and she has a bad manners, you can hit her. Now let me clarify this misconception. Islam does not permit of hitting anyone, because the way it is being said to hit, because first of all, the word hit is not there. To hit is something like you bang someone or you slap very hard. It's like basically what the Islam, what is the Quran, what is the hadith talk about, to how to correct your wife and how to correct your children. Is like, for example, if someone, your wife makes a mistake and the children make a mistake, the way to correct them is like you have to do, like, come on, do this, come on, I tell you to do this, come on. This is what is Quran talking about, that the beating of like a toothpaste. When you have like a toothpaste, like, come on, do that, do this. Now this does not mean you take a big rod in your hand and you take a big stick in your hand and you have punches and you have a boxing fight and you start having a UFC fight at home. That is not what Islam talking about. Islam talking about to correct your wife with a slightly, like, come on, please, you're my honey, you're my beautiful wife, come on, do this. This is what is talking about, to have a beat her or beat your children like a lightest as a toothpaste stick, like a miswak. It is the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ does not talk about to have a big fat thick stick and you hold in your hand and you have a UFC fight going on at home. This is not what the Prophet ﷺ, because if you read the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, we do not find any kind of an example where the Prophet ﷺ in his life he taught anyone to beat your wife. Because one of the in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ was being complained about the similar situation, and the Prophet ﷺ just stopped the Sahaba from doing that. And because if the woman start doing that, and because it would be more bad for the woman than the man, because as a naturally the man has more power than the woman. So woman has to be like, in my other lecture I talk about that, what is the root cause of that, but I'm just gonna stick to the point where the question is being asked, if it is allowed to hit a wife. It is not allowed to hit a wife. And also the Prophet ﷺ said, even if you hit on a face or in your head, it's like, come on, do this. That's what the Prophet ﷺ talking about. And come on, like, do this. It's not like you take your hand and you slap very hard and the whole face got red, and especially in America, in the UK, I'm sure nobody's allowed to do that, because usually happens in our countries where there's no law, where there's nothing. But it's a very helpful and it's a very good thing that in countries like the UK and in America, there's a very strict laws that even the wife cannot abuse a husband, and the husband cannot abuse his wife. So in order, they have to avoid such a situations. They have to control, first of all, the aggressive behavior, and they have to control their anger that brings to that situation where the things got physical, into the physical fights. So the Islam does not teach hitting a wife or hitting your husband or hitting your children or hitting anyone, unless when it comes to something like a serious situation. And still the Quran or the the Sunnah Prophet ﷺ does not permit to hit your wife or hit your husband or your children. So what basically they're talking about, to have a slight hit like a toothpaste, like a miswak, like a toothpaste brush. When you hit it like the, okay, come on, do this, do this, do this. This is what I'm talking about. Like, come on, do this. It's not like you have your punch and you just hit on your face, on her face, or hit on her head and take a stick and start hitting her. Because there's a much misconception in many Eastern countries, like in Pakistan and in India, in Bangladesh, and I'm surely there's in Arab countries also, and also there's an African countries. So we don't know about it. Since I'm from Pakistan, that's why I know what's going on in the Pakistan. People usually behave like an animal. Mostly like men, they're trying to overtake over women, thinking like the woman is a slave and the wife is a slave and the children are slave. They're not slave, because all of them has an equal right. Because there's a beautiful ayah in the Quran and Surah Qiyamah from verse number 33 to verse number 36, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم ذهب إلى أهله يتمتع أولى لك فأولى ثم أولى لك فأولى أيحسب الإنسان أن يترك سدى. So these are beautiful verses, we can understand that. And Allah said to the person, remember you used to be like very arrogant to your family, and now you're gonna suffer, and now you're gonna suffer more. What were you thinking? Like nobody's watching you while you were behaving like an arrogant with your family members. So Allah has given a very equal right to the husband, wife, children, and everyone. They have to live in a peace, not that trying the husband have to be overtaking of the family. There's also verse in the Surah Nisa, and I believe it's verse number 34, where many people has a misconception of the verse where it says Ar-Rijalu Qawwamun 'ala Nisa, where Allah say Ar-Rijal has a Qawwamun 'ala Nisa, means Allah is a man is responsible on their woman. So that responsibility does not mean to be over them. It's simply saying you are responsible to take care of your wife or take your children and take care of your family members. It's your responsibility. It does not mean she is your slave and she is not your servant. She is your wife. You have a 50% right and she has a 50% right, and in the house everyone has a right, and nobody has a right to be take over other people in the house. So when it comes to the hitting a wife, that's something like a very far away question.